Hello, and welcome to the Fit Over 40 Challenge Show. The number one show for those of us in the club. That's right, the 40 and Over Club. My name is Coach Dave. I'm going to be your coach and host today. And I'm super excited to bring you this Halloween special edition show. I'm calling it What's Scarier Than the Ghosts and Goblins? Without further ado, here is Coach Dave. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for indulging me in that. I know I couldn't do the entire show in that voice, but hey, it's Halloween, and I thought I would start it off being a little different, being a little goofy and silly. But the message I have today isn't really all that silly, to be honest with you, because when I say what's scarier than ghosts and goblins, I've got to tie in this health and fitness message. And it really, with being Halloween, fits right in. And what's scarier is, how about type 2 diabetes? And I know it's Halloween, and that means costumes and pumpkins and scary haunted house, but unfortunately it also means candy and sugar. I mean, I'm a parent, and I can tell you this right now. Both of my kids bring home enough candy from, let's say it's 2 hours of trick-or-treating, to one, probably be enough sugar for 2 years or a year and a half. And two, it would be enough for half the houses in my neighborhood. It's just unreal. And the crazy thing is that this all starts to begin in the summer. I mean, stores start taunting and tantalizing us with displays of festive treats, and conveniently packaged now are small and easy to eat servings. And so by the time the holiday rolls around, we've been wading through candy corn and fun-sized candy bars for months. I mean, be honest. I have also. We bought candy. I won't blame it on my wife here. She said, "Oh, let's have some. The kids are asleep." Of course, she told me to hide the evidence. Kids saw it the next morning. We didn't hide it, or at least I did. She did. But that's besides the point. Again, I'm just like you. It's there. It's constant. Okay? And all the holidays have their traditions, their peculiar traditions, but Halloween perhaps wins the prize for being the most focused on candy and other sweet treats as the center of the attraction. The center of the holiday itself is really about the candy. And so no matter how hard you try to avoid it, you will undoubtedly find yourself staring down a confection before all is said and done. There's no doubt in my mind that that's true. Okay? So the question I have for you today is, will you give in? Listen, while one piece of candy won't make or break your health, few of us stop at just one. I mean, when was the last time that you just had one piece of licorice or one milk dud? Of course, I'm naming off all the ones I like, right? But seriously, the fact is, most of us see Halloween as, as a festive occasion, from Thanksgiving to our neighbor's cookout. I mean, it's perfectly good time to indulge in whichever kind of sweet temptations are presented to us. I mean, that's what the holidays are about, right? But that indulgence takes its toll, and it's manifesting itself more and more in the current epidemic of type 2 diabetes. And that's the main point here. All right, I'm not trying to put a damper on things. I want everybody to have fun and everything, but I think it's just a message that needs to be brought out because, listen, it's called an epidemic for a reason. All right? I mean, it's shocking to see that the increase in new cases of diabetes it's growing. And listen to this statistic that I found. Less than 5% of the population had diabetes in 1990. All right? what was that, 20 some odd years ago. So not too long ago, but you can see a generation or starting to see a shift there. That figure is now up to 7%. That's a 40% increase in that time frame. Now, here's another alarming stat, which just blows my mind. I mean, every 21 seconds, someone is diagnosed with diabetes. I mean, let that sink in. 21 seconds. We've been on the call or on this show now for over 5 minutes. How many is that? I don't know. I can't do the math, but in my head right this second. But think about that. And I got to be honest with you. Another reason why I feel that this is an important message to get out is if you've heard any of my previous shows and some of the other things I've talked about, one of the big reasons, I feel that my purpose in life is to continue helping people get health and fit and be in the best shape that they can be, and even as they get older, is because my father had type 2 diabetes. And I watched over time, and that's the thing, it's over time, some of the things that happen to someone who has type 2 diabetes. And so it's not something that sits lightly with me. And the thing is that it can be prevented. And so let's just talk a little bit about it, just in case, you're not sure exactly what type 2 diabetes is. But what is diabetes? So I'm going to get a little technical with you, but bear with me. I'll try to keep it to where you understand it. So much of the food that we eat is turned into glucose, okay? So that your body can use it as energy, right? That makes sense, right? And after a meal, you have your pancreas, and it produces a hormone, insulin, which helps the glucose, or also the sugar, move from your bloodstream into the cells in your body where it can be used for energy. However, when you have diabetes, your body either does not make enough insulin or it cannot use the insulin that it produces. So the result ends up being a buildup of glucose or sugar in the bloodstream. And you see these high levels of blood sugar cause extensive damage in the body. And it causes that damage, which is what you've known to be as heart disease, kidney failure, blindness, and even amputations. Now, adults with diabetes are twice as likely to die early as those without diabetes. And this is where I bring it back to my personal story. And these are the exact things that happened with my father. I mean, I remember his ankles were swollen. I mean, huge. And he'd always have to put his feet up and try to bring the blood flow back down. Issues with vision. He had heart disease. He had 2 heart attacks, and obviously the final one, massive heart attack, which killed him. He had a mild stroke. All that stuff was related to the type 2 diabetes. And so what's the connection here, you might be asking? And you see, this is where, again, I'm not trying to put that damper on the holiday because I love it. My kids love it. We have a fun time getting dressed up, going out. But the connection between Halloween and type 2 diabetes is simple. Excuse me. The more sugar you eat, the harder your pancreas has to work to produce insulin and keep your blood sugar within a safe range. You see, the pancreas and the cells that are in your pancreas that produce the insulin are the only cells, let me tell you that, the only cells in your body that can actually wear out from use. And that's pretty crazy because we have a lot of different cells in our body, but they are the only ones that can wear out from use. And so if you overwork them, you're eventually going to, your cells are going to eventually cease to perform in a way that can keep up with the current demand. I see your body can also become resistant to the insulin that your pancreas produces. All right, so the more resistant your cells become to insulin, the more your pancreas has to make in order to have an effect. So when these situations develop, you have type 2 diabetes. Okay, so I hope I kind of connected the dots there, that I don't feel there's anything wrong with indulging and having piece, 2 pieces, maybe even 3, 4, 5, but you don't need to have candy for 10 days straight after Halloween. Get rid of it. You know, it was funny because when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about this week in the show, going to the studio that I coach at, I walked by the orthodontist, and they have a big drive to buy back candy, which I thought was interesting. And I've seen this similar before. Dentists are doing that, and I mean that's obviously another factor is the teeth. I mean with your kids and stuff, and even yourself. But I just found that interesting that there are others that are out there that are trying to help get that message across that, listen, there is a connection between way too much sugar in our society and the issues and the epidemics we're having. So the good part to this is the prevention. Okay? The good news is that type 2 diabetes is completely preventable. Let me just say that again. It's completely preventable. How? By adopting a healthy lifestyle. You've heard me say that before. Lifestyle. You'll never have to experience this disease if you have that healthy lifestyle. Again, that's where I talk about, go ahead, have that piece of candy. I think it might have been in the last episode I talked about, I went to a conference and the guy presented, I don't know if he was a clinical nutritionist, but he had his PhD in nutrition, and he works with a lot of different clients. And one of the things he was saying was he brought a client in, told him to write down what he was eating, and the guy, wrote down that he had indulged in, some Oreos. So they had the conversation, and he said, hey, listen, if you want to hit your goals, you cannot eat Oreos. And he's like, yeah, I know. I know they're bad for me. I can't eat them. I'm not going to eat them. So next time he turned in his food log, it was the coach was astounded because his client had basically eaten a whole box. I don't know if it might have even been 2 boxes, within the week. And he's like, dude, what's up? It's like, I know. I can't help you. You told me not to eat them, and I just was like, I want to eat them. And so he started to think about it, and he took a different approach. And I've heard this before. He said, okay, here's the deal. You can have 2 Oreos a week or whatever. I don't remember what he told him. But that's it, okay? Have your Oreos. Next time the guy came in, now assuming that he was truthful with his food log, he didn't eat a whole box of Oreos. And it's that subconscious, that it's the way our mind works, that by saying, no, I can't have it, you want to go ahead and have it. You want to go ahead and just, you know what, I'm going to eat the whole bag of liquor. Coach Dave said, I can't eat candy on Halloween. I'm going to go eat half the bag. You might get sick doing that, so I wouldn't do that either. But what I'm saying is, this is preventable. You don't have to always indulge. You can restrain. You can say, you know what? I already had candy this week. I don't need to have any more candy. All right? You've got to make that lifestyle change. And here's the other thing. And maybe you're listening to this and you have type 2 diabetes. Well, if you do, you can control it. See, that was the thing that bothered me with my dad, was I knew that he had type 2 diabetes, and I continually tried to help him. As I've said before, I always felt personally responsible for a while that I didn't do enough to help him change his lifestyle. Of course, and I've written about this in my book that I'm about to release soon, is I realize that we all have choices to make. And no matter what, somebody can tell you, and you know it, whether or not you should be doing it, you've got to make the choice. And he decided not to. And again, the other hard part to this is that I want to say it was 6 months, no less than that, about 5 months prior to him passing. I went to Florida, visited him, and I actually went to the doctor with him. And that was when the doctor said, Mr. McGarry, I'm sorry, but your dad really is kind of on the other side. And, I didn't really kind of go into any more detail because I kind of knew he had already had, a stroke and a mild heart attack. And so I knew that things weren't good. And it was at that point that I realized that, you know what, unfortunately, it was too late. But if you do have type 2 diabetes, it can be controlled naturally. And the best strategy, regardless, for everybody here, is to keep your weight within normal range. Again, you've heard this: eat a healthy diet full of whole foods and very little sugar. Do me a favor and just start looking at the packages and see how much sugar is in a serving size. Again, you got to remember that's in a serving size. Sometimes there's more than one serving to something, and it might say 10 grams of sugar, and realize it's 4 grams. You eat the whole, that's 40 grams of sugar. All right? And exercise at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You've got to get out and get moving. That's the other issue. If you're not moving, you're sitting around and things aren't that good. We're not meant to sit. Technology has created that. We were meant to move. You've got to do it now. You've got to force yourself to do it because we don't do it naturally. All right? So, these are simple lifestyle changes. And remember that these simple lifestyle changes are the enemies of type 2 diabetes. So if you want to go head to head, throw those lifestyle changes that I just talked about. Okay? And so this Halloween, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to choose your future health over present pleasure. Again, enjoy 1 or 2 treats and then stop. It's not worth the price you'll pay later. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. Again, if you're not already part of the tribe, come on over, join us. allabouthealthandfitness.com, free Facebook group. Lots of us in there helping encourage people, staying accountable, giving tips, trying to figure out ways to live healthier, lifestyle changes, just you name it. Lots of great people in there. I'd love to get you dialed in. If you need some help, some support, again, I'm there. If you need any help, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at dave@davemcgarry.com and just say, hey, I need some help, and I'll be happy to point you in the right ways. I've got several options for you. So just wanted to go ahead and bring this Halloween edition of the Fit Over 40 Challenge Show. This is Coach Dave signing off. Ha 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 ha.